So I was thinking, I want to get my videos out to more people, so I need to talk about something that's going to get more views. So I decided we should talk about women, because that would probably up my views like 10 million times, right? Because it's such a big topic. So, especially in ISKCON, women gurus, women in the workforce, women less intelligent, women subordinate to their husbands, do whatever their husbands say. Let's talk about this. So I was thinking of a question. If I had a cavity and I needed my tooth to be drilled and replaced, I probably wouldn't go to a carpenter just because all the dentists I could find are women. And as we know, women are less intelligent. So men are more intelligent, so let's go to a carpenter because they use drills. Obviously, no. So is every man more intelligent than every woman that you've ever met? Probably not. So what does it mean? And I think the most important thing for us to understand is in the context in which Prabhupada speaks about women. Whatever he says about women, whether you understand it properly or improperly, there's one important thing to understand. It's always within the context of protecting women. And we know today women are being exploited left and right, even by their relatives, or I would say mostly by relatives. Most rape is by relatives or friends. So a woman's position in Kali Yuga is not good. I would say it's bad or horrible in some places. So when we hear Prabhupada make statements about women that seem to us in modern culture within our context not politically correct, derogatory, minimizing them, etc., it's actually all within the context of women should be protected, and this is how they are protected. Now, if we look in modern context, the concept of a woman being subordinate to her husband, most husbands, or I don't want to say most husbands, many husbands would misuse this position of having a wife who would just do whatever they wanted and just agree to anything. However, women and men voluntarily subordinate themselves to their spiritual master because the spiritual master is qualified to be subordinated to. The spiritual master is qualified to surrender to. The spiritual master only has the interest of his disciples in mind. Therefore, the devotee, the disciple, can voluntarily, naturally surrender to their guru. So if a woman has a husband who is qualified, who looks out for her interest, is it difficult for her to surrender or subordinate? No. Now, if he says something ridiculous, is she not being submissive if she doesn't agree with it? No. Even sometimes Prabhupada's disciples would disagree with him when he would say we should do something. And they would say, Prabhupada, I think it's better to do it this way. And Prabhupada would consider and say, okay. Or he'd say, okay, if you think that's better. Not that it was normal that we would disagree, but sometimes, because Prabhupada was not aware of every situation in the Western countries, his disciples would help him. So they were subordinate. But sometimes he would say something and they would feel maybe it's better to do it another way, or maybe there's another understanding, and they would present it to Prabhupada. He said, okay. So once a disciple of Prabhupada said, I've read in your books the husband should be subordinate. The wife should be subordinate to the husband. Does that mean the wife should do whatever the husband says? And Prabhupada said, and you should think you're so arrogant, to think that you should be so arrogant, to think that way. So it's all within the context of protection. So anytime you hear a statement which is derogatory, it seems derogatory, or belittling, or minimizing, or exploitative. It's not. It just seems that way within our culture because we have men who are not capable always in every situation of taking a leading role in a way that the woman's interests are fully considered and the woman is protected and not exploited. So that's an important element. Then you get into elements like women in the workforce or not in the workforce. And the answer is yes. Yes, what? In the workforce or not in the workforce? Yes. Out in the field preaching or staying at home with children? The answer is yes. Should women become guru or shouldn't they? The answer is yes. What does yes mean? Yeah, well, if they're qualified. Should a man become guru? Not if he's not qualified. Should a woman become guru? If she's qualified. Should a woman stay at home? If that's her inclination, if that's what she wants to do, if that's what she's good at. Why should anybody criticize her for that? If she wants to be in the workforce, if that's her decision, if that's her husband's decision, and it's not negatively affecting the family, the children, why should we as individuals interfere with their decisions as if they're not intelligent human beings who can make decisions? Was Prabhupada pleased when his women went out and boldly preached? Yes. Did Prabhupada say women should stay home, take care of the kids, and churn butter? He said that in New Vrindavan. Butter churning is good. Good, really good exercise. You should try it sometime. Forget the gym. Just get a cow and churn butter. You'll be in great shape. So there's no question that the scripture or anything Prabhupada said about anybody is not benevolent, it's not caring, it's not in their best interest. It just sometimes externally, on face value, seems exactly the opposite because we don't understand the context, the culture, the heart of the sadhu, where he's coming from. And if we think of him like an ordinary person, then those statements could seem very, very, okay, I'll just say politically incorrect, but hurtful, discriminatory, racist, sexist, as Prabhupada has been accused of. Prabhupada is not sexist. He's not racist. It's impossible for a pure devotee who sees everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, who sees everyone as spirit soul, whose heart just wants to give everyone Krishna, who has compassion even for an ant. Yes, an ant. There are stories. Prabhupada showing compassion to an ant. It's impossible for him to be sexist, to be racist. So we need to start from that position, that the scriptures are benevolent, the teachings are pure, the sadhus are benevolent, the sadhus are pure, even if it seems externally that they're not, because whatever they say is within the context of protection of that person materially and protection of that person spiritually. Not in any way could they possibly have any self-interest in relation to any living entity.